How do you cook meat in Sons of the Forest? How long does meat last until it goes rotten? Can you overcook food? We are going to answer those questions and more in this video.
You're not gonna find any more alive down there.
Hello everyone, I am Gebatron, and with my PC on the fritz I decided to pick up Sons of the Forest and play on my laptop. I've been following this game for about 8 months now. It finally released into early access on February 23rd, 2023, and so far I'm really enjoying my time with it and I recommend it. But you know me, I can't play a game without knowing exactly how everything works. This can help us plan better and put us in a better position to overcome the challenges the game throws at us. And Sons of the Forest throws a lot of challenges at us. So I went ahead and tested everything I could think of in regards to cooking so we can have a really concrete idea of how it works and how we can best use it to our advantage. First off, all my settings for these tests are at normal and default. The only setting I change is under survival here. The starvation/dehydration damage is off by default and I change it to normal. Also, I play on PC, so all my control references will be for a mouse and keyboard. I'll also be speeding up some clips as we go to save time. So how do you cook in Sons of the Forest? If you already know this and are here looking for answers to other questions, then go ahead and check the timestamps and skip forward if you want. First, we need a fire. I build a reinforced one here, but you can build a smaller one if you're on the move through the island. You'll need a fire to cook meat. Next, we need to harvest some meat. The beach is a nice place to start as there are plenty of seagulls. You don't get a lot of meat from seagulls, but you will get feathers, which you'll need for crafting. Raw meat is stored here in your inventory. To cook the meat, walk up to your fire and hold E. Your inventory will pop up with all the items that can be added to the fire, including our meat. Left click on the meat and it is added to the fire and it begins to cook. Now you can look at it and tap E to pick it back up or eat it raw by holding E. However, eating raw meat will give you less benefit than eating cooked meat. You'll also notice the meat is red, and if we wait about 35 seconds, the meat will turn a darker brownish color, indicating that it's cooked. Tap E to collect it or hold E to consume it. Cooked meat is stored in the same place as raw meat in your inventory and can be eaten from your inventory by left clicking on it. Once consumed, your hunger meter will fill a large amount. Note that our meter here fills full, but this will depend on where it is when you eat it. As in, one piece of cooked meat is not enough to fill your meter entirely from empty. Your stamina will get a nice boost depending on where it was, and you will regenerate a large portion of your health. Eating cooked meat is very beneficial. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's answer some other questions. What happens if you eat raw meat? You'll gain some health, a small amount of stamina, and your hunger meter will fill a medium amount. Not as beneficial as cooked meat, but not bad either. How long until raw meat turns rotten? Let's start the timer from the moment we off this seagull. The results here aren't perfect as I did end up having to sleep twice, and when I woke up the second time, the meat had turned rotten. The timer stopped at just over 28 minutes real world time, but in game it was about a day. So assuming you sleep once after harvesting raw meat, I would cook it within roughly 25 minutes, maybe a little more, to be sure that it doesn't rot, or within what ends up being roughly a day in the game. What happens if you cook raw meat that has turned rotten? Unfortunately, there is no saving it. It'll just disintegrate after about 38 seconds on the fire. Can you overcook meat? The answer is yes. Let's speed up the clip. Meat will burn if left on the fire for too long. What's too long? About 1 minute 7 seconds. Or another way to say it is you only have about 32 seconds to get your meat off of the fire after it is cooked before it burns. So don't get too involved in any other tasks. It turns black when burned. Eating burned meat will reduce your health a negligible amount and give you a slight loss in stamina, but it will fill your hunger meter a small amount. So while not ideal, it is still better than nothing and not a total loss if you accidentally burn some meat, especially if you have a lot of health and stamina. On the same topic, meat that is left on the fire for over 1 minute 40 seconds will simply disintegrate. So pay attention. How long before cooked meat turns rotten? Cooking meat does not mean it won't also turn rotten. It does seem to last a little longer than raw meat, but not by a significant margin. Here, my cooked meat went bad somewhere around the 37-minute mark with one sleep, or what was about a day and a half in the game. What happens if you eat rotten meat? You'll lose a marginal amount of health and stamina while gaining very little in your hunger meter. While it might help you a little with hunger in a pinch, I don't recommend consuming it unless you're dying of starvation. So what have we learned? First is that meat, both raw and cooked, can go rotten. But now that we know how long we have before they turn rotten, we can extend the time we have this meat by waiting just under a day to cook it and then just under a day and a half to eat it once it's been cooked. So we can potentially carry around this meat for about 2.5 days. Good to know when on those longer excursions. We also know that we need to pay attention to our food as it cooks so we don't lose out on the health benefits it provides. However, if we do burn some meat, it's not the end of the world and we can eat rotten meat if we absolutely need to. You can also dry your food to extend its shelf life, but this video is getting long, so I'll have to make a separate video with the details on how that works. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. If you have any other questions, make sure to put them in the comments and check for a pinned comment as I'll put any updates in that. So now we know all the details behind this system. Do you want more guides like this to Sons of the Forest? If so, let me know down in the comments and I'll pump a few more out. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. Check the description for links to join the Sons of the Forest community on both Discord and Reddit, as well as other ways to support this channel. Please like the video, share, subscribe for more, and help me beat that algorithm. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.